Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. For purchase and pricing details, it's in the description below. Reach out to me with your questions about this or any watch we have on any of our 1916 platforms. I am still T. Mosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a launch from the 2023 model year, a 1,000-piece limited edition in hard-coated steel. This is the Seiko Prospex Speedtimer chronograph SRQ035 in steel with a Dia-Shield coating. More on that in a moment. 42.5 millimeters in diameter, 15.5 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, just the case, 50 millimeters with an end link to end link total distance across the wrist of 52.1 millimeters. It has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll pop open the clasp. We'll throw this on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, and you can see that it fits comfortably. Although it is large, I'm going to recommend that you wear this on a wrist of at least 15 centimeters circumference, precisely because it is fairly thick, quite massive, and with a 52.1 millimeter end-link to end-link distance across the wrist, you can see that it's really filling up my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. Now, you could wear this on a 15 centimeter wrist if it were on a strap, but the way it's set up, I think 15 is a bare minimum, preferably 16 and up, just because it is a very wide watch in terms of stance. It's not terribly thin either, and it will hang up on a tight dress sleeve, so you want to wear this with a sleeve on maybe a jacket. A jacket cuff would clear it well. The bracelet features an integrating end link to better conform it to the flank of the case and the slope of the lugs. There's a little bit of taper down from the end link towards the clasp. You can see removable links are all satin finished. The removable links are fixed using pins and sleeves, which is a durable system and it avoids the gouging and stripping of screws, but you will need a block and punch if you want to size this at home. Now, looking closely, you can see that there are intermediate sized links that are built in on both sides. In case you are in between sizes with the removable link, you can use these intermediates to fine-tune the fit. One thick gauge steel single swing arm released by a twin trigger system, which inspires confidence as you have to press both triggers in order to deploy this system. Taking a quick look, everything here is satinated with the exception of the bezel and the shoulders of the chronograph pusher. So we've got a little bit of contrast here between the satination of the case and lugs, the polish of the bezel, and then you can see the shoulder sleeves of the chronograph pushers. These have been polished as well. There's a little bit of a polished lip on the outer edge of the crown, which is unsigned. It is a push-down crown, but the watch is 100 meters water resistant. Now, I mentioned Dia-Shield hard coating before. Typically, stainless steels are in the 150 to 200 Vickers range, so that's for 316L, and 316L that has been modified with the hard coating by Seiko can be up to 500 Vickers, but remember that's a surface coating, so when you take the microns thick surface coating and you average it with the steel underneath, you wind up with something between 150 and 500, but still quite a bit more scratch, dent, and divot resistant than conventional stainless steel, so that's nice refinement to have. The lugs really give this case its character as they are super sharp, and fascinatingly, they've got a little bit of tumble home. They tilt inward. You can see that angularity right there, and they have beautiful undiminished faceting as this watch has never been refinished. Taking a quick look, we have these vintage inspired pump style pushers and then a dial with a tachymeter. You can see that can be gauged to judge the speed of, say, a car over a kilometer. That's always the classical example for a tachymeter, and that's done using the chronograph. Now, the dial is a lovely bright white lacquer, glossy, gleaming, handsome, and mirrored. And then we have a lovely black and white aesthetic. There seem to be a lot of Snoopy-themed watches these days. This one is not explicitly that, though it certainly works on a comic cell black and white basis. It does look like something a Peanuts character might wear. And you would be nuts not to appreciate the rugged virtues of this watch, as it has plenty of luminescence, automatic winding, durable construction, the 100-meter water resistance. You can see a little Prospex X right there. And a mistake made by many on more expensive watches would be a date disc that is a different color than the dial. Seiko gets this right, as the date disc matches the dial perfectly. Now, as you can see right here, if you engage the time setting while the chronograph is active, you're going to spin the minute hand wildly. So what you want to do before activating the hacking is you want to stop the chronograph and then set the time. That's how that works right there. Note the delicately beautiful counterweights to these hands. We've got a lancet-style counterweighted chronograph seconds hand, and then these lovely spade-shaped counterweights to the hour and the minute hand. Beautiful details right here. Chevron-style indicators for the sub-registers. So you can see I've got my stop seconds right there, but I've also got a quick set date, so I can rapidly cycle the date if I wish to do so. Flipping it all over, there's not as much to see on this case back. It is not specifically a beautiful movement, but it is a rugged and reliable one. This is the 8R46. In case you had any doubt, it's right on the case back. Automatic winding. This is a movement that has a power reserve of 45 hours. It actually has stop seconds, quick set, 34 joules, and then a feature that seems way upscale, which is a combination of a column wheel and then a vertical clutch. And that has been the case on Seiko chronographs since 1969. So thanks to the column wheel, you have a very crisp feel. It's a very positive pusher action for a watch that's relatively affordable. And then because of the vertical clutch, the engagement of the seconds hand is seamless. You can see there's no jump or stagger because there's no play in a vertical clutch. There's no extraneous motion when you start the watch. Also, because of the vertical clutch, if you just like to have your seconds at center and you don't want to worry about constant seconds, you can just leave it running with no additional wear and tear. There's no extra hazard to the watch from running a vertical clutch chronograph on a full-time basis. And while Seiko is an entry-level mechanical watch brand, make no mistake, this is a product of the motherland, made in Japan with pride. You can see that right on the case back, a watch that has a lot to offer. If you love this watch, reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.